book on. I'll show you in a minute. There's my lovely wife, Brigitta. She couldn't make it this trip. We came in September to San Francisco and stayed with Brenda or Dr. Wade. And it's fantastic, lovely city. And she's the love of my life. And when he was talking this morning, I had to go thank him because we got into Men Are From Mars, Women From Venus early in our relationship. And so we've been happily married for 16 years. And actually the work that I do allows me to listen a lot. And so this work is very great, by the way. If you have a relationship, you want a relationship, do this work, because, especially for men, because your wife or your spouse will want to talk to you. And this is a great way to allow them to express exactly where they're at. And for men, it's more left brain. They can sort of see, yeah, we're making progress. We're doing, this and that. And so it's great for both sexes to have, because it really works for us. And this is my cat, Mr. Pookie. Mr. Pookie is the smartest cat I know because A, he gets everything he wants, and B, doesn't do a damn thing, except look cute, as you can tell. And what I do in my spare time is I ride a unicycle. And that's me out in the park riding a unicycle. I'm riding for charity, by the way. It's called the 1000mileproject.org, and I do this to help bring in money for Nepalese orphans, and it's Himalayan Children's Charities.org. But if you go to 1000mileproject.org, you can see some videos of me riding around Stone Mountain and a few other crazy places. But anyway, I have a link to the children's charities that I do, and I'm riding 1,000 miles in a year just to sort of do that. For a 58-year-old guy, I guess that's a pretty good deal.
All right.
Thank you. I've also written a book, The Logical Soul. Dr. Wade has been so generous to write a foreword to the book, and I've got a few copies that are hidden under there. I've got to bring them out. They'll be available after the talk. Now, getting into the technique itself, a little bit of background, only a couple of minutes here to explain exactly how this came about. And one of my inspirations was Abraham Maslow. Those of you in psychology know exactly who this is. Essentially, Maslow, back in the mid-40s, came out with a paper which described his theory of motivation. And he did something a little different in psychology at the time. He studied normal people instead of dysfunctional people. Up until that time, a lot of psychology revolved around the study of, catatonics and manic depressives and, schizophrenics, things like that. He said, well, what would happen if you study the highest of humanity instead of the dregs of humanity? What can we learn from that? And that's what he did. And so Abraham Maslow started studying people, and he came up with this concept of self-actualization, which you may be familiar with, the hierarchy of needs, which means that the basis of those needs have to do with what do you really need to survive. You need to breathe. You can't last a minute without breathing. You need food, you need water, sex, sleep, homeostasis, excretion. These are all basic needs that everyone has. Going up on the pyramid, we have safety, security, body, employment, resources, morality, the family. And these are all things that everyone, male or female, have a priority of needs, which some more than others we're focused on. Now, obviously, if you can breathe, you don't need to worry about that because you know you're breathing. If you have enough water, food, sex, sleep, homeostasis, and excretion, those are all taken care of. You don't need to worry about them. But if you don't have that, obviously you're going to pay attention to that. Now, as we go higher in the pyramid, it becomes increasingly important to understand that unless we've addressed the more basic aspects of this hierarchy of needs, we're not going to be able to skip over some of them. If you try to skip over basic needs, your body, your subconscious mind, or this inner being, whatever you're talking about, is going to give you a hard time. Anybody have that feeling that sometimes you've got somebody inside just fighting everything you do? Anybody ever felt like that? Or like addictions are like that. If you're addicted, you gotta have, it's like your body's looking for something.